When you're loading and launching your boat, one thing you ought to do before you even bring the trailer down to launch is to check the condition of the ramp itself. Look and see if there's any algae on the ground down here that you might slip on, or that the truck and trailer might slide on, either getting in or out of the water. Now, you also want to look at the condition of the ramp itself. Are there any broken pieces of concrete? Are there any obstructions down here that you need to be aware of? Maybe you need to move a little bit one way or the other way to launch your boat. Also check and see where the end of the ramp is at. Now, in areas where there is a lot of water fluctuation, like a coastal area, or even some lakes that have hydroelectric generating plants that raise and lower the lake level regularly, you may have more or less ramp to work with. So check the condition of the ramp itself, and how much room you've got to work your trailer into the water. Now, one last thing, the ramp area is a place that you don't want to dilly-dally. Get your boat in the water, launch it, and then get it out of there. And believe me, if you spend a lot of time in the ramp area loading and launching, and there's a lot of people waiting, you'll hear about it. Now, this ramp looks good for us, and we're ready to launch.
All right, so we've come from the staging area, and we're about to put the boat in the water. We're going to look out over the whole boat before we actually put it onto the ramp. And for one thing, we want to make sure that we did take off our tie downs so the boat is not connected to the trailer.
Now, a couple of other things you want to make sure that you're checked on, and you should do this in the staging area, is that the plugs, the drain plugs, are in the boat. Now, this boat has two. There's one back here on the transom and one amidships, and we did that up in the staging area. Now, this boat is a little unique. It is a true shaft drive boat, as a lot of wakeboard style boats are these days. This boat has a shaft that's directly connected to the transmission, and the propeller is on the end of the shaft. Now, as opposed to an inboard outboard boat, which has a outdrive out here that you can trim up or down, this boat has a propeller on a shaft and a rudder. The rudder gives you steerage. Now, the big thing to be concerned of here when you're loading and launching your boat is there's no ability to trim the engine up in a shallow water situation. So you need to have the boat far enough onto the ramp and in the water that you're not worried about shallow water conditions or an obstruction damaging your propeller or your rudder. Now, this trailer has a great guard system already built into it and fabricated into the trailer so that it protects the propeller, the shaft, and the rudder when you're launching and loading your boat. Okay, the key when you're backing your trailer and boat combination down on the ramp is take it slow and take it easy. Now, the trailer boat combination that we have here, the trailer is a float on, float off style trailer, and I want to be sure that I've got the trailer far enough in the water that the transom of the boat begins to float slightly off of the trailer bunks so that the boat can then float off the trailer whenever we get it cranked up.
You always want to leave your boat connected to the trailer until you're sure that your engine is operational, you don't have any leaks, any problems with the engine. You don't want to be stuck out in the middle of the lake and have your engine fail. So we're going to go back here and check out the engine compartment, check our oil, do a sniff test for any kind of gas fumes that you might have, and check your belts and hoses. Before we left the staging area, I turned the blower on to get any kind of gas fumes out of the engine compartment before we bring it down to the ramp. So I've checked all the belts and hoses, the oil's good, and we're ready to start up the engine. And I'll go back and check the engine to make sure everything's running properly. Okay, Cephas, let's head to the lake.
Okay, now with the winch and winch strap system that's connected to the bow eye, it's a little tricky, and for a first-time boat owner, you want to be sure that you take a little bit of pressure on the winch handle before you release the locking lever right here, so that the winch handle doesn't fly around and hit you either in the arm or in the chest. Now I'm going to ease it off, keeping control here, because this is a pretty heavy boat. And just ease a little bit of slack, never let go of the handle. All right, now I've got some slack there. I can disconnect the hook from the bow eye, re-engage the shift lock on the winch, and the boat should float right off.
All right, so the boat is free now from the winch. We can go ahead and put it into the lake. If you have trouble, if it seems like it's a little bit sticky getting off the trailer, you can back the trailer down a little bit further into the water, and that should relieve the pressure from the bunks. You should normally just be able to put it in reverse a little bit and be able to float off the trailer.
Okay, now that Stan's got the boat in the water, my job is to get the truck and the trailer out of the launch area as quickly as possible so that other people can use the ramp.